Here we are. We're looking now at our NX RF 148 full English keypad. This one's attached to our demo kit, but obviously this will be on your wall at home or in your business. This door can either be left up or left down. You flip it down like that. And so each keypad might be a little bit different. Your cancel button may be up in this top left corner, depending on the exact model. This full English keypad has the LCD display here. Some of the other models will just have zone numbers that represent open zones, and you'll cross-reference that with a list on the bottom of the keypad door here. There's also keypad panic alarms, fire, ambulance, and police. These are fully programmable and customizable by the site or by customer preference. These typically are off for commercial, on for residential. They can be enabled or disabled at your request. Across here we have an armed LED, a ready LED, a fire LED, and a power LED. The ready LED will be on if all your zones are secure, and in this case it also says system ready, type code to ARM. The power LED is always on if there is AC power to the system. This should be on at all times. You've got some up-down arrow keys up in the top right corner, which we'll get into a little bit later for scrolling through different options in the menu modes. We've got a quick stay arming button. This is typically enabled for residential, off for commercial. The chime button is enabled on all systems, and we'll get into that in a bit. The exit quick arm button, again enabled for residential, off for commercial most of the time. A bypass button and a cancel button. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to arm and disarm the alarm system. This can be done a number of different ways depending on how the system is programmed. In a residential application, typically you can arm the system using the quick arm buttons. And the stay mode is designed for nighttime use or when you're at home. We've got a home mode or a stay mode and an away mode. In the stay mode, that's bypassing certain motion detectors that are configured for home away that allows you to freely move around the house but be protected all on the perimeter. The exit mode is the full system arming that arms the interior and the perimeter devices. And because we have this set up with a motion detector in home away, I'm going to go ahead and push the stay button. You can see on the screen here it says system armed, zones bypassed. And I know that the motion detector or motion detectors at this point are off, but the perimeter doors and windows would be active. And you can confirm that using these arrow keys. Zone 2 bypassed hall motion detector. Now, you'll also notice that you don't normally get an exit delay beep or audible exit delay beeps in the stay mode. So when you're going to bed, you just hit the stay button, the system remains quiet, allows you to go to bed. To disarm the system, there's no quick off button for obvious security reasons. You will need to enter your code. And for our demo kit, it's 1234. And we're back to the system ready type code to ARM. For a full system arming, which you would do when you're leaving the house, press exit, and you'll see the new message, system armed, all zones secure. And you'll also notice that we are getting an audible exit beep. This is a prompt for you to get out of the house or business, and we'll speed up at the last 10 seconds to warn you that you're running a little close. So at that point, you better start moving. And once again, a code will be required to disarm the system. For commercial applications, these buttons are typically disabled unless you've specifically requested them, and you'll always use your code to arm the system. And you can see that I have been able to arm with the code. Essentially, it's the same thing as the exit button. You don't have an option for a home away situation for commercial typically. It's code on, code off. Now I want to show you, I've got the system armed now. It's run through the exit delay. So this could be minutes, it could be hours, it could be weeks after you've actually set the alarm. And when you come in, you're going to always come in through your designated entry exit door. And I'm going to simulate that now, just by opening a zone. And now you can hear that audible entry delay, and you can also see the message, type code to disarm. So you're going to walk over to the keypad and enter your code. It should disarm the system just like that. You'll also see that that door is still open. It says system not ready for help. Press the arrow key, and I can just confirm that the zone that I walked through and is still open is the front door. Okay, you've got the door closed. You'll also see our green ready light is back on, and you could either rearm the system at this point or leave it disarmed for the time you're at home. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick for residential now. I like this feature a lot. This is for in stay mode. If everybody's home and you're not expecting anybody to come into the house, there's no real reason for you to have delays on your entry doors. And you can arm the system in instant mode or no delay mode. And all you do is you arm the system normally with the stay button and just press it a second time. And you'll see it comes up armed instant. And this is great if you have young kids in the house, or if anybody does open that door, your entry doors will act as though they're perimeter instant zones, and you will have an immediate alarm. So it's a little higher security for your home mode. Okay, so another popular way to arm and disarm the system is using your key fob. You can see we have a key fob on our demo board here. Very simple to use, much like the quick arm buttons on the keypad. Make sure that all the zones are secure. The system is ready to be armed. And go ahead and push the lock button in the top left corner until the little LED blinks on the keypad, on the key fob there. And if configured, you'll get a bell squawk to indicate that the system has armed, and we can see that the system has armed on the keypad, all zones secure. So this lock button is like the exit button on the keypad, full arming, all zones. Unlock on the key fob disarms the system. Hope you can see this. We get the little bell squawk to let us know that the system disarmed, which is handy when you're outside the house. You can hear that audible confirmation. The stay mode, like the stay button on the keypad, is the light bulb button in the lower left corner. So I'll go ahead and push that, and we can see that system armed, zones bypassed shows up on our keypad. And again, if I scroll through, we can see that zone 2, the hall motion detector, has been disarmed or bypassed for this arming cycle. And we'll go ahead and push the disarm unlock button on the key fob. The star button is programmable. It can be configured to do a number of things. It by default is the same as the away, so you don't really need that. You can call that an extra not used button, so you'll use the away, off, and stay. There's one other thing I'll mention to you about the key fob is the arm and disarm buttons, the top two at the same time, held down, is a police assistance panic button. So it'll operate similarly to the keypad panic, which we'll talk about in a bit. But within 100 feet or so of your receiver in your home or business, the key fob can act as a police assistance panic alarm. And you'll just want to make sure that that is actually configured. You can always call and check with us, and we can let you know. Again, it's residential enabled, commercial typically disabled. Okay, I'm just going to show you then the police assistance panic situation on your key fob. So again, you got to push both the lock and unlock buttons together at the same time and hold them in for a couple of seconds there. And the siren's going to trip on your system if that's how it's configured, and you can hear that that's how we have ours set up. And you're going to enter a code on the keypad at some point once you're safe or out of danger, and that'll cancel or disarm the system. Okay, another feature that I really like is this chime feature that the system offers. Great for both residential and commercial applications. So for commercial, I'll enable it just by pressing it now. Anytime a door is opened on your system, the chime will go. And that's regardless if the system is armed or not. So it's quite handy if the keypad's by the back door in the warehouse area of the business and you've got a customer that comes in through the front door, you're going to know that somebody's come in and you can go out to the front and find out what's going on. For residential, it's great. If you've got small kids around, somebody opens that door, you're going to know somebody's coming in or going out. You can go and investigate what's happening there. If somebody's coming home from work, you're going to hear the keypad. It'll let you know that somebody's coming in so they don't startle you when you're not ready for it. So the chime is a toggle. If you can see that the chime LED is enabled, you know the chime is enabled. If the chime LED is off, then the chime is disabled. So if you've got somebody leaving for work quite early in the morning and you don't want to be woken up by your keypad in the master bedroom, you can just toggle that off first. There are ways in programming to customize it so that certain keypads are silent keypads, so they won't act with the chime feature at all. So once again, contact us and we can help you and assist you in getting that set up. Now I'm going to talk about bypassing zones. Now this will come up periodically in a residential application for, let's say in the summertime you want to have bedroom windows open to let some fresh air in while arming the rest of the perimeter. Or for commercial, if you're having a problem with the zone and you need to get the alarm set, that sort of thing. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So for residential, what I'd recommend is open the zone or zones first before you arm the system. And I'll simulate that by opening a zone here. It'll go from ready to arm to secure not ready. For help, press the arrow keys. I'm just going to show you that it's saying zone 3 fault bedroom window. All you do is once you've found the zone in the description on the screen, you just press the bypass button. It will come up and say bypass next to the zone. Press the pound key. And you'll notice now it says type code to arm, even though that zone is open. And you could do that with any number of zones. Scroll through and just press the bypass button next to each zone and you'll see that just come up on the display. And then go ahead and arm the system. In this case, we'll arm in stay mode. So that will automatically bypass our motion detector, which is set as home away. And now you've manually bypassed the bedroom window. And you can feel free to leave that window open or close it if you get cold. But that bypasses one arming cycle, so that when you disarm the system and rearm the next time, that door, that window, whatever you've bypassed, will be back in the system. So it's good only for one arming cycle. So I'm going to go ahead and disarm the system. For commercial, it might be a little bit different. So when you scroll to that open zone and press bypass, it's going to ask for a code. Because commercial, a little more high security, we don't want just anybody to be able to walk over to your keypad and bypass your zones. You have to know one of the user codes. So if it asks for your code at this point, enter your 4-digit code, then it will allow you to bypass the zone, and then you'll have to arm the system. Okay, so the last thing I'll show you about this keypad here are the panic buttons on the side. So fire, ambulance, police. For commercial, these are disabled. Typically, unless you've specifically asked for them to be enabled. Residential, the fire and the police will be active. The medical, we do not enable again unless you've specifically requested. For medical, we do prefer you call 911, but we can set this button up for you. We also have wireless medical pendants, portable pendants that you can wear around your neck or on your wrist, which is much more convenient than having to try to get to a keypad for a medical emergency. But the fire and police for residential should be active. You go and you have to hold those buttons down for a few seconds, and I'll simulate that here. I'll hold fire. And you can see that was about 2 or 3 seconds, and we have an audible alarm. So if there's a fire, push the button and get out of the premises. I'm going to go ahead and enter the code to disarm the system. That cancels the siren. And the police assistance can be set as audible, can be set as silent, depending on your preferences. So check with the installer, check with us on that to find out how yours is set up. I'll go ahead and push ours now and see if we have a police panic alarm. So I'm going to enter the code to disarm that. But fire and police, we'll dispatch the fire truck for this one and the police response on this one. Okay, your system may have smoke detectors attached to them, and I want to show you what happens if you ever have a fire alarm for one of your smoke or heat detectors. There's a couple of things that are going to happen. So I'll simulate a fire alarm on our demo kit here. We can see hall smoke detectors come on, the arm light is flashing, and the fire light is on. So at this point, obviously, you're going to evacuate the premises. If there's a fire, you can get to a safe place. If it was a false alarm and you're sure that there's no fire, you can enter a code on the keypad to silence the siren. And what you're going to see on your display here, if you have the full English keypad, is alarm memory, hall smoke detector. And you'll see this fire light on as well. Now that fire light will never clear on its own unless you reset it. And on the door of the keypad it does say reset smoke detectors. Press *7. And we can see that the fire light goes out. It's important that you do the reset, that fire light, after any fire alarm. And that will clear it on the system. And you can continue arming and disarming the system as normal.